Nope. Saw two guys yesterday, one guy today. Hardcore, man. Not for any ice on the road, it's fun.
Oh, yeah. We brought you south end or the.
Bunch of cars.
We laid it out on the porch. Yeah, trash. They wouldn't burn it. You want to go on cancel it.
When will you sign in?
Truck cars.
Doing okay. You? Good deal. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Is that valve open yet?
Snap.
Get back. Just get moving.
Good.
How you doing?
It's not the correct time. 6:29.
Excitement out of my house Sunday night. Little excitement Sunday night, about 7:30. Somebody's out there shooting deer down there at the road, it's pitch dark.
I know.
All that stuff.
It's when somebody moved the truck.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's two green, two or three. Pass now.
well, I think that is, I thought they left, I think that properly, right?
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
That bottom, your lights out.
Do the start.
Do we?
Yeah, they'll start at 6:30. We'll do the.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Tammy Andrew.
Yeah.
Ben Hunt. Jeff Horpenny.
Here. Before we get started, Jenny, did you advertise legally and do what we need to under the ORC 594?
Yes.
And this is what on zoning appeals.
I forgot to bring that complaint with me. The written one.
This,
Yeah.
do you have a commitment against that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
See what their thought looks like.
appeals board has not done the job and would like to have the board take action to remove said person from the board. She says the Sorg family have not received a letter.
It's supposed to be done in so many days.
Yes, but I'm not sure how many days it is. Do you know how many days?
10 days.
It's 10 days. You know, when you send the letter.
The original one I sent was November 5. I sent it from the Statesville post office. Post office was closed that day because it was Veterans Day. I have put a trace on that letter.
What was the date of the meeting? I forget.
It was October something. 20th.
You guys have a meeting.
Did they get the letter? Or?
Not that one, but I sent another one last week. And I explained in that, I sent them a copy of what I sent originally, saying the variance of the agreement, sent a copy saying that I was going to trace.
This is the source letter. This is what she gave them. This is the letter she sent them, which is actually not worth the paper it's written on. There's no signature, no identification on the top of it, header, who it came from or anything. The date on this was the 3rd, and miraculously they received it after last month's meeting. Has any minutes been produced yet? No. Minutes were supposed to be produced also. The Swords have got this back. But they would like to have a signature so that Dickie County can accept it.
We have no letter.
This
You
says the
create
Green
the
Township
letterhead.
Board of Zoning Appeals approved a variance to Tom Sorg on October 20, 2014. The variance allows an easement to be established through his property so he can give a 10-acre lot to his daughter. The easement will be off State Route 668. The variance was approved for Section 9.5 that requires a 250-foot road frontage. The current road frontage was approved to allow access to the 10-acre lot. This one, handwritten note says, "Dear Tom, it has been brought to my attention that you have not received the letter from the Board of Zoning Appeals. I am enclosing a copy and will trace the original." Patty Volland.
I'd like to see the zoning resolution changed to have that mailed instead of first class mail, have it sent registered mail. And I'd like to also say I've never received anything about the meeting tonight. Had I not had a phone call, I would not have known to do
I
that.
sent letters to everybody.
I didn't get one.
Oh, I sent letters to everybody on the appeals board.
Yeah, I did not get
So
one.
we do have some members here tonight then.
Yeah. We all
Dave,
got
did you get
one.
your letter?
Yeah.
Jack?
Yeah.
Everybody else got their letter?
Did you send it to
About
alternates
what?
as well?
To who?
The alternates as well? They did?
I believe so. I sent it to everybody that was on the list, on the zoning appeals list.
Yeah, I didn't get a copy.
I believe that she should be at all meetings. She's not been to any. It's just now coming in here now, can't produce nothing.
After the October 20th meeting, we had a meeting, a township meeting also, and the appeals board wasn't there to report their findings or to even give the minutes. Still no minutes have been produced.
I have an email back in October where I told Jenny that we had no secretary, and I asked Jenny to become the secretary for the Board of Zoning Appeals, which according to ORC, I can do that.
And what was
You
my
don't get to
response?
tell her.
Jenny
You get
said
after.
she was not able to attend that meeting and she would need a tape recorder. And I expected that she would do that. She did.
I said, I can't be there on the 20th, but I can drop off my recorder. I suggest having a short meeting before the hearing to appoint a clerk,
And then I responded.
meaning that I was not going to be doing it.
And I responded that we had to go into a private session, into executive
Yeah,
session.
her response was there are some of the, we have to have an executive session back, come back, vote, et cetera, before a secretary can be elected.
Here's another issue.
That's not.
Hang on,
that's not-
hang on. I responded to her by saying, Mr. Scanlon, the former clerk, told her that. I responded by saying, I disagree with Mr. Scanlon about the need for an executive session. I know the appeals board did that the last time they appointed their members, but it isn't necessary.
It's not legal.
It's no different than trustee board appointing the president and the vice president at the beginning of each year,
It is different.
which they do in a public meeting. Even if you feel you need to have an executive session to appoint a secretary, you could do it in about half an hour. I'm saying this to indicate that I didn't in no way tell her that I was going to be doing the minutes or acting as clerk. I was
Also,
strongly suggesting that she appoint a clerk before that meeting. And I gave her the recorder. There's no recording of that meeting on my audio recording.
when
I
did,
saw- I attended that meeting and she stated that she recorded it.
There
and
was
she
no
had to-
recording on my recorder once I got it.
So there's no official record of
There
the
is
meeting at
no
all?
recording of the meeting.
when did Mr. Zenmeister leave?
I think it was July or,
When his term was up, we appointed two other people.
no, Zensmeister was the one that we removed.
No, he was not removed. His term was up.
Yeah, we didn't remove.
Okay.
When was
Well, I
his term
think-
up?
It seems like it was July or August.
And as the chair, shouldn't the chair know when that position was up? So now there's a vacant position and she needed a clerk, so shouldn't a meeting been called to get a clerk?
I don't know.
Is that,
That's
I mean,
not,
yes or no?
that's not how it's been done in the past, and Mr. Zinsmeister still would have been on the board even if it expired, that's how it works.
Right,
He only left the board because he was removed by two out of three trustees.
so he was
He
removed.
was removed that way
I don't
without
think it
hearing.
was removed.
Yes, he
His
was,
term
because he was
expired.
replaced
Right,
with,
his term was.
there were three people that were removed, and there was no hearing to remove any of them. And this is the appeals board and the other board. There were at least three, there was Zinsmeister, Baird, and Stepp.
Okay.
All three were removed. Stepp was not on the appeals board, he was on the other board.
And their
That's
term
not
was
legal.
up.
He's under investigation.
His term was up.
That's not-
No interest was shown.
it's not
so
true, it's not relevant.
fulfilled.
What?
But as far as the appeals board goes, I think there were just two that, wasn't there? Baird and Zinsmeister.
That what, that their terms were up?
Those are the only two that were on it, they're no longer on it. From that point, it was Zinsmeister and
Well,
Baird.
okay, yes.
And then, you filled those positions, so there, I don't know if there's still an alternate open or not, there may be one.
But no clerk was ever designated, which the chair knew there was no clerk prior to the meeting setup.
Well,
And she got notification in August, the meeting didn't occur until October, so she had way over 30 days to find a clerk, correct?
yeah, at the last meeting, you said August, application was applied for
August was when her application was turned in
and paid for.
and paid for.
Because the ORC is violated there because there's a time frame from that point forward. it
And
was
let
failed.
Correct.
let me mention that the zoning inspector did not properly do her job because she turned in an appeal, not a variance, and I contacted the prosecutor. And I have it right here that she said we needed to start all over because the form should have been the variance form, not an appeal. I emailed Jenny after
That's not
she
what she
emailed
said.
me the form. I also have from the prosecutor where she is supposed, when this is filed with the zoning inspector, it is also supposed to be filed with the zoning board in writing, the same form. I never got anything except email from Jenny with the form. I said to Jenny, when I got the original email, I said, and I, by the way, and I was at that August meeting, and I said to Jenny, it looks like there should be more paperwork because what are they appealing? Jenny says, I don't know, you'll have to talk to Barb. I contacted the prosecutor and Barb.
No, you
Oh,
never
yes.
contacted me.
Because-
I got copies from Jenny.
Yes.
Wrong.
And
From
so-
Jenny,
And you
not
got,
you.
and you got it from the prosecutor also.
You never
Because
contacted
Amy,
me.
I've got
You
everybody's
never
right here.
contacted me. Make sure that's in your notes.
Even-
She did not contact me.
Even Ben and Jeff got copies of the email from the prosecutor. You did too.
You did not contact me.
Yes, sir.
You did not. Prosecuting attorney contacted me, not you. And you got an immediate,
And right here
you got an
is
immediate
everything.
another letter, and you know it. I got everything right here. Right there. All the originals.
And you never gave.
And it was given to Jenny, and Jenny sent it to you. I've always sent everything to her. And that's where it
And
goes.
if you would read the zoning resolution, it is supposed to come to the zoning board.
I
At
gave
the
it
same
to
time
Jenny,
it comes
Jenny
to
sent
you.
it to the board. Thank you. Jenny needs records also.
To the zoning board or the zoning appeals board?
The appeals board, I'm sorry.
And this is, you're referencing our zoning.
Yes. And I have the email right here from Amy. Who said that we needed
Yeah,
to start the
that's it.
entire process all over again, which is why it then went to September. Because it had to be a variance applied for, not an appeal.
And what did you get immediately after? The exact same thing, different form. Exact same thing. Yes, you did.
And yes, and that wasn't filled out entirely either, and
You
I
have
also
both
have.
forms and it was sufficient, according to the prosecuting attorney.
Yes, and I have it from the
Move on.
prosecuting attorney that says we can reject any form that is not completely filled out. We then accepted the form, even though it wasn't completely filled out.
You say we, you mean yourself.
I accepted it on behalf of the zoning appeals board.
You have copies of all those emails. I gave you copies of them all.
Jenny's indicated some that I haven't heard about.
Yeah,
I don't know what I have or don't have. I haven't seen a copy of the actual application.
No, that's because they've got those, other than the original I have here.
Yeah, here's the original.
No, here's
It
the
was
original.
They wanted an appeal, not a variance.
But she's not showing you the next form, is she? There's two of them.
This is the original form that was
That's the
dated back in
original?
August 26th, so that's when your timeline should have started, was from that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
And would
that's
you like to
when-
know how long it took her to say anything? September 30th. That's when the new form immediately was sent. September 30th.
No, Barb.
Yes.
No.
Yes,
You were
it was
told,
done
you were
immediately.
told in September, no, you were told, yes, in early September, that a new form needed to be filed, even from Amy, right here is
Nope.
the email from her, to start the process all over again, and that was September 16th.
Nope.
Oh, yes, it is,
I
right here it
didn't receive
is.
that email.
Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, no, I
Because Amy
didn't.
sent it
I
to
copied all of
everyone.
my emails. I did not receive that email.
Then you better talk to Amy about.
I don't need to talk to Amy. You're on the trial, not me.
This is the original one. Does the second one have any other information other than it's on a different piece of form?
I'm not sure. You said you have the original?
This is the original, right?
That's the
I
original.
mean, a copy of the original.
A copy of the original. Here's the original.
What I was asking is a copy of the first time the form was filled out and the second time.
This is the first one that was filled out.
This
Is
the second-
this the first time or the second time?
There's one was the first and the second. One
Yeah,
was
both
August,
there.
the other was September.
Is the only difference.
And
the
that
head-
form was
header on the
filled out
paper?
immediately. As soon as I found out, I called her, it was filled out.
This is the one dated August
That's this
26th.
one.
And then this one's
Do you
dated-
recall when you guys were notified?
Just wondering what the difference is other than the actual title of the form.
There was a
It's
distance
an
of time, that
appeals and
wasn't there?
variance.
Yeah, I remember calling you and asking.
But all the information is on both of
Yeah.
them. looks like.
And that's what I did the form immediately.
Is there any changes between the first time and the second time other than being on different letterhead? Different title?
Nope, no change whatsoever.
If you'll look through there, you'll see that there are different requirements as to what needs filled out.
Oh, there's a copy of the check.
And the only thing that was done second was that form. She already had all that other information.
This is a copy of that letter that's in our packet. Do you want to see his name, Ben?
It's just a copy.
Yeah, I need to get all that back.
Copy.
That's all my original.
You do have all this in file, but
Yes, I just didn't bring it all with me, I have it at home.
the fact of the matter is there was a hearing.
October
It
20th.
was, the ORC was violated up to that point, but I understand, I saw the email where legal counsel had advised to move forward from that point and start your meeting, start the clock over. So I understand that residents still failed to get the letter after the meeting that was held.
And miraculously, this letter appears after last month's meeting. Nobody ever
Because
saw a copy of it before.
Because up until that point, I didn't know that they had not gotten the letter, Barb.
You didn't send Jenny one or me one, did ya?
No, I didn't.
Then I guess you still didn't read your rules, did ya?
Rules don't say in there to send it.
You have to notify us. No notification was ever made. I couldn't even answer her when she kept calling wanting to know what's going on.
You were at the meeting when it was approved.
And did you give it to me in writing? Because I don't have that authority. Thank you very much.
And I'm not the secretary.
It's your job to make sure there was a secretary, isn't it?
And that's why I requested, because
You
Jenny's,
did, you just said you
since
told
Jenny
her.
is the secretary for the zoning board, I requested Jenny become the
She said no.
secretary for the Board of Appeals.
She said no.
Yes, I stated I would not be here.
She would not be at that meeting. She did not say
She
she
said
would
no.
not be the
said no.
secretary.
I didn't say I would be either.
No, she didn't say she would be,
It
but
was
by
still
giving
your
me the
responsibility.
recorder and everything, I assumed that she would do the minutes and the letter. Jenny contacted me November the 10th and said, are you going to send a letter to the Swords? I said, I will send it this week. And I sent it November the 11th. I actually wrote the letter the day that I got the email from Jenny.
I contacted you October 28th is when I sent the email asking if you were going to send the letter.
Are minutes still going to be provided in some manner, since there are no...
I wasn't even at the meeting, so I had no recording of the meeting, so I'm not sure how I could do it.
I'm sure that my board members and I can get together and do minutes. It was a very brief meeting, as you know.
Because the minutes could have sufficed to be given for whatever paperwork would have been needed for whoever may need it at the county or... But they still need produced by somebody. There was a meeting.
Jeff, why did us people come down here and make a decision? She didn't follow through, so these people back here could build her a house. She's leaving them people sit in the mud, winter, snow, ice, and she don't care. Or she'd been on the ball. Now you answer that. You know how much it costs to work in ice and snow?
Well, they still can't do anything. The letter was never signed. The letter they sent her, you see it, was never signed.
So even right now, we can't hand them
It
minutes.
can't be
that say-
used. Yeah.
If she signs that letter right now, would it suffice for what's needed so they can at least move forward from this point?
It would be up to planning if they will accept it, yes.
Because first and foremost, the people that applied for that need to be able to move forward as soon as possible if they're still being stymied because of this.
And when I talked to Brad Mercer, he never told me I had to sign the letter. He just simply said, put your name on it. That's what I did.
Well, then anybody could have typed that letter.
Well, Mr. President, we have a meeting that starts at 7 o'clock, so I would suggest that you ask anybody here, including the residents, if they would like to state anything, because it's a hearing and we're here to hear everything people would like to say.
I'd like to say something. These people wanting to build a house, Jeff, make a decision.
No, the decision's made, they can build their house, the problem is, she shouldn't be on the board, she didn't do her job.
Well, I know
That's
she
the
don't,
problem.
she never
I
did
still
that
feel
job.
she should not be on the board, she did not do her job.
We'll take a vote on it.
And she's blamed everybody except herself sitting here.
Not to stick up for either side. But we don't do this every day. We don't do it every week. We don't do it every month. There's a lot of guidelines that aren't set in stone, like having a letterhead and things like that.
Prosecuting attorney told her to call her zoning inspector more than once. She also put it in writing, this is not a legal matter. She is not the one in charge of it. Contact the zoning. She never at any time.
No.
I talked to the woman, yes, she did, and I will not argue with you.
She never told me to call you, because you'll see on these emails that you got, it says, email is a legal form of correspondence.
You put that on there.
I
You put that on
said,
there, not her.
I said I was
You
not
put it on
calling
there,
you.
not her.
I said I
She
was.
told you to call me. I talked to that woman. And I finally told her, she said, she keeps calling, what do
Let's
I
calm
do?
down a little bit.
And I told her, tell her to call me. And hang up. Your questions could have been answered. You refused to do your job.
What do we have to do to vote to remove her from the board?
They have to do it.
You have to say that. So take a vote.
If the residents need something from a trustee in writing or something like that, I'll be happy to personally compose a letter. I witnessed the meeting, I watched the board, I watched how the vote happened. I'd be happy to sign it, give it to you, whatever you need, since you don't have it yet.
Well, once she
That's
signs
the
that.
priority, right, I mean, it's well past the priority, but that
Right.
needs to be done, so.
Yeah, I can sign it, it's not a big deal.
As soon as she signs that, they got the documentation.
We have a letter here. It was already, you read it, correct? It was already read in the minutes. You know, if Patty's want to, we get a signature from her. You know,
I'm gonna do it.
they can be
Doesn't
out
matter
there.
what color.
That still doesn't solve the problem.
Nobody gets one issue out of the way.
Yes.
I'd like to know if the residents had anything they wanted to say at the hearing with the matter that's
She
at the
gets a
table.
letter.
Yeah.
Now, if I could continue, one reason I have emailed with Barb rather than calling her is because I'm not going to deal with he said, she said. Just as right now, she said, I talked to the prosecutor. I have mine in writing from the prosecutor. Even the prosecutor deals in email, because then you have it in black and white, and you don't have any he said, she said.
Just one statement, that's all I need.
Have we heard from everybody that, is anybody from the, well, Jack's on the board, anyone else on the board have anything to say? Because I'd like to hear what
I
Patty's
can't
board.
say nothing, I wasn't at that last meeting, I had family issues, and I didn't make that meeting.
Tell him. That man thinks something should have been done before now. He's on the board. She should,
I can't see.
it's your neighbor.
What do you have to say, Lee?
Not a thing. Should have known,
We thought it was over.
definitely.
When we got there, I was against it, they was for it. I'm for it now because we passed. She ain't done nothing. You shut up.
We're not the ones being punished here.
Don't tell her wife.
Lord, we're not the ones being
Blubber
punished.
mouth.
The stores are the ones being
Don't
punished.
tell my wife.
They should have had their property already in building. This should have already been done.
Well, like I said, at 7 o'clock, I have another meeting that starts, so if anyone else wants to be heard, this is the time.
Can anybody say something, Jeff, or just the
Sure.
board?
Yes.
Whenever there's a variance like this asked for, it seemed like when we were trying to get that done so we could get all of our stuff redone again, didn't the neighbors get letters or something saying that we were doing that and that it might affect them? Was there any letters sent out to any neighbors
Yes.
this time?
Yes.
Who would you say are neighbors? Who would you say are neighbors to this?
The swords.
The Swords.
Say the property owner.
No, I mean, who would,
It was the
And
Swords
should have-
property, so it was the
Yes.
Swords neighbors.
okay, but who should have gotten letters?
Everybody
Everybody
touching-
ordering them?
Touching the
Yes.
property.
Okay, well, how come we didn't get a letter?
Does your property,
We're not-
property
we're not buying them?
touches,
It's not touching
Does
that.
it
Bill's
touch the
sword.
Swords?
You
Okay,
don't-
the
it's
different
not-
sword.
Yep.
Okay, I just wondered if everybody got letters that was around it like they did before.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. That's it. I didn't know where it was.
Have we heard from everybody that
Okay.
has something to say? In that case, I move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
What is the action gonna be? There was supposed to be action.
Well, I would suggest that we put it on the agenda for the next trustee meeting. It'll give an opportunity for each trustee to review. Jenny, I don't have some of these emails that were revealed tonight, the ones that you referenced, and you know, I'd like to see things that aren't in this packet. And I would suggest it go on the agenda and we can discuss it at a public meeting and take action or move forward however the board decides. We already adjourned the meeting. so.
I'll second it too.
I'll move to officially adjourn again here at 6:59.
No, this part is on that.
This was all taken care of last time, but I
Like,
think it should have been this, that's it.
All I have to do is keep it.
Did something was done.
this is, if you guys are staying for the junk car hearing, this is for the junk car hearing. Sign it.
You gotta sign in a second time?
Yeah, it's a different.
Yeah, it's a separate
It's a
meeting.
different meeting.
Change seats to be a different person?
One seat, guys.
So if you change seats, you change hats.
I might not be on.